Hi there, time to talk lead scoring in eMarketeer. Lead scoring is a feature that you use to see how sales ready your contacts are and to help you identify your marketing qualified leads, your MQLs. It means that you set up criteria that you find important to qualify a lead, what we call lead score rules. And when your contacts fulfill any of those rules, they get or they could lose points. So the more points a lead has, the more sales ready it is. Now, for your contacts to start collecting those points, I'm going to show you how you set up your score rules in eMarketeer and how you can also filter out contacts based on their lead score. But before we head over to eMarketeer, you need to know what you want to score your contacts on. There are some default score rules in eMarketeer to get you started, but lead scoring works the best when it's set up to fit your business. So the very first thing you need to do is put together your lead scoring model. A lead scoring model includes that you list what lead score rules you want to have, so what actions and attributes you think a lead should fulfill that's likely to lead to a sale. You should also set how many points each rule should be worth and when they should expire. We have more resources on how to put together your lead score model on the eMarketeer support site, but you might end up with a list that looks a little something like this. So as you can see, there are two types of rules that you could score on in eMarketeer. We have explicit scoring, which means that you score your leads based on their personas, so the information that you have on the contact card. And we have implicit scoring, which is based on their marketing engagement. I'm going to show you an example of each. So when you know what you want to score on, this is how we put it into practice. Okay, so here we have lead scoring in eMarketeer. You get to this view by clicking Contacts and then Lead Scoring in the menu on the left-hand side. Now, in this view, you're going to see a list of all your score sets. A score set contains one or more score rules. So think of score sets as a way to categorize your rules, like folders. So for example, you might want one score set for each product that you sell, or one score set for each flow that you have, or like we did here with the default score set, where we grouped the engagement rules in one and the persona rules in another. These default score sets can be edited, inactivated, however you'd like. But now we're going to build our own. So we click Add Score Set. Name it something that clearly states what type of rules we have in this set. I'm going to be pretty straightforward here. We could also choose to add a description to further describe our score set. Now we want to add rules to this score set. So we click Add New Rule, and if you've built filters previously in eMarketeer, you're going to notice that this works exactly in the same way. I mentioned previously that we have different types of rules. So when you click the first drop-down menu here, you see those different types. So we have engagement, the information that we have on the contact card, and we also have if they're included in a contact list. So all these options you see, you could build score rules on. So if we're going to look at an example from the example list that we had, is that we wanted to score our leads that are from Sweden. So that's demographic information. So we choose contact fields, find country, equals Sweden. And now we're going to name this rule also. So again, something that clearly states what this is, so you can easily find it if you need to go back and edit. So apply. And in the next step here, we want to set how many points a lead should get when they fulfill this rule, when they are from Sweden. So according to our list, 7 points. Okay, let's look at an example for engagement rules. So we click Add New Rule, choose engagement, and as I said, you could build rules on any of these content types, so emails, forms, SMS, and so on. If you want to score on web visits, you need to put a little piece of code on your website. But if we're going to use an example from our example list, we want to score on email engagement, so I'm going to choose email. I could pick any email, but I actually have an email in mind here. So I'm going to pick that. Here I'll go with open for now. And what's nice with engagement score rules is that we could set how many times a lead must do this action to get the points. For example, the lead has to open this email at least twice to get the points. But here I'm actually going to be happy with at least once. And the next thing to consider is the time frame. So the lead should only get points for this action if it happened in the last, let's say, 14 days. If it's been longer than that, the points will expire from the lead's score. Now, why is that so important? Well, let's say that the lead did open this email, but then we didn't see any more activity from the lead, so the lead might have lost interest. With a time frame, we know that the lead scores are always up to date. Another thing I'd like to show you is that you could combine criteria into one rule. So an email open in itself might not be worth that many points, but in combination with an email click and 3 visits to a landing page might show some more interest. So I'm going to click and I'll pick the same email that we had. This time I'm going to go with clicked, a specific link, so the link to the landing page here. Here I'm happy with 1 click, 14 days, and here I'm going to choose landing page. Pick a specific landing page, visit it, and I want at least 3 visits here. And let's not forget to name this rule as well. Now I'll click apply. Same as before, we'll set the points here. So this rule might be considered closer to a sale than the previous rule that we set up, so I might give it some more points here. Lastly, I'd like to show you how you can use negative scores. So lead scoring can help you find relevant leads that are likely to lead to a sale, but it could also help you find the ones that are not likely to lead to a sale. And we do that by setting up negative score rules. So it could, for example, be if the lead visited a career page looking for a job, or is from a country where you can't offer your product or service, or has student as their job title. Then we build a rule for these negative rules equals student. Click apply, and the only difference here is that instead of keeping add, we switch it to remove. So now points will be removed from the lead score when that rule is fulfilled. If you need to go in and edit your rules, you can do so by clicking the pencil icon here. What's good to know is that if you edit a rule or add more rules, it might take some time before the score rules are updated on your contacts. Usually just a couple of minutes, but it depends on how many contacts you have in your database. Now, when you're happy with your score set, you could put it to active, click save, and now your contacts will get scored and you will see the lead scores on your contact list. You could also sort the contact lists according to the lead scores. And you could also see the lead score on each contact card. Now, let's say that when you put together your lead score model, you decided together with your sales team that a lead that has more than 80 points is considered an MQL. So let's say that you want to find those contacts in eMarketeer. And we do that with the help of filters. So we click filter, choose score, and now we can choose that we want to see the contacts that have greater than or less points than. So in this case, greater than 79, apply filter. And here you then have a selection of your MQLs. You could also choose to save this filter so it's always updated, so MQLs. Now, if these are considered your hot leads, you could also build more filters based on score. So for example, for your cold leads and warm leads as well. So then we would just do less than 80, but higher than 50, for example. And that would be our warm leads. So when you have a selection like this, you could either click bulk actions and do a bulk update on these contacts. So for example, add them to a list, or you could also export these contacts. So either as a text file to Excel or to SuperOffice CRM. Just note that for a contact to be added to the selection in SuperOffice, it has to be a known contact in SuperOffice CRM already. Now, good luck. If you need more assistance, we have more resources on support.emarketeer.com, or you could also reach our support team by clicking the chat box in eMarketeer. Good luck.